Friday afternoon Facebook Live. I'm Andrea, and I hope you guys can hear me and see me okay. So if people are there, and if you can't hear me or see me, then maybe post a comment and let me know. So I'm gonna go ahead otherwise. Okay. So today I'm going to be giving you 3 tips for your emotional health and well-being, followed by about a 10-minute guided breath work that's going to help you become more grounded and in the present. Um, so just for a couple things for starters, I want to make sure you know I'm not a doctor, healthcare professional, and this is not meant to be any kind of substitute for good medical care that I trust you're all getting for cancer or anything else. And also, if you're really, I'm going to be giving these emotional tips, but if you're really struggling with depression or anxiety, or if you've had trauma in the past, then you should definitely consult with a therapist or talk to your healthcare provider about it. So let's get going. And while we do, if you click on that like button and that share button, that will help more people to find us here. So emotional health is always really important, but it becomes more important when we're faced with big challenges in our lives, like a cancer diagnosis, like a pandemic, for example. And if you're dealing with both of them at the same time, which probably many of you are, that's a big emotional challenge. So that's why I wanted to give you some tips today. And so emotions can get stuck in us if we don't allow ourselves to experience them, but we want to experience them in a healthy way. So when we cover them up, it can cause big problems. And there are a lot of healers and experts that say that over time, this negatively covering up our emotions negatively impacts the body and immune system. So in my own work with cancer and cancer patients and coaching, I've been really influenced by the work of Kelly Turner. So she wrote the book Radical Remission. She studied over 1,000 cases where cancer patients had these amazing recoveries from serious and sometimes terminal cancer diagnoses. And she said that patients who recovered tended to address whatever was stuck in their being. So whether that was physical, spiritual, or emotional, that was something that she saw when she was analyzing these cases. So here we go. 3 tips for emotional health for you. So tip number 1 is to recognize when you're covering up your emotions and not experiencing them. And there's a lot of ways that we do this, that all of us do this sometimes, and some of us do it most of the time. So we may be covering up our emotions by eating when we're not hungry, for example, by distracting ourselves constantly, by doing things online all the time, by constantly having outside stimulus like the news or Netflix or people. We can also cover up an emotion by constantly thinking about the past or the future, so not really being present. If you find yourself thinking about the past or the future in ways that aren't really useful to you, there's probably an emotion underneath all that. So once we've recognized when we're covering up our emotions, that's tip number 1, we can go on to tip number 2. And tip number 2 is to identify what the emotion is. So if you're not used to doing this, it takes some time and some attention to do it. You have to inquire, you have to ask yourself, what am I feeling? And the answer might not come right away. Especially if you're not used to it. So some things that help people with this, a lot of times, one is movement. I know that's been really important for me, doing yoga, walking, jogging. A lot of times emotional insights will happen during those times that I don't think would happen otherwise. And also just breathing deeply and focusing on your breathing is another way to just become more in touch with your body and invite inquiry and insight. The guided breath work that we'll be doing at the end could be helpful for that. And for some people, journaling or writing things down can also help with this emotional inquiry. So another thing that's helped me and some of my clients figure out how we're feeling is looking at a list of emotions while I'm trying to figure out how I'm feeling. So this can be really helpful if you just really don't have a clue. It can help you, give you some ideas, like what are the possibilities here? And I have a really useful list of positive and negative emotions that I use with myself and clients. And if any of you like access to that, let me know and I'd be happy to share that. So tip number 2 is to identify what the emotion is. So then we can go on to tip number 3. So tip number 3 is to allow the emotion. So what does that mean? So it doesn't mean crying a lot, although sometimes tears might happen. It definitely doesn't mean raging or appearing to be really emotional. So allowing an emotion is an internal experience. An emotion, just to be clear, what's an emotion? It's a physical vibration in your body that you feel. So a lot of times we feel it somewhere in particular. So for an example, for me, when I feel fear, I feel a tightening feeling in my shoulders and kind of a dropping feeling in my stomach. When I feel shame, I feel sort of a flushing feeling in my face and a little bit of a twisting feeling, again, in my stomach. So it's different for everybody. How you experience it is going to look different from how other people do. So one thing that happens if you've been covering up an emotion for a long time and you start to allow it, it might feel like it's going to just go on and on forever and it's always going to be there. It might feel very big. So it's important to stick with the present moment experience because sometimes it makes it bigger if you start thinking about the emotion and kind of judging how you're feeling. So sticking with your present experience and separating out the emotion from thoughts about the emotion can help. And, you got to tell your thinking mind, I appreciate you, but right now I'm just focusing on this physical sensation and how I'm feeling. So when you can be in your body in a compassionate, loving way with yourself, noticing how you're feeling, you don't stay stuck in it forever, even if it might seem at first like that's going to happen. It does ultimately kind of wash through you and it starts shifting in ways that often create a deepening experience of life, a fuller and richer experience of life. It's kind of becoming unstuck if it's something that you haven't been feeling and you're able to live more from your heart. So, quick recap here. Tip number 1, recognize when you're covering up an emotion and not experiencing it. Tip number 2, to then get underneath that covering up and identify what the emotion is and name it. And tip number 3 is to allow your emotion by feeling it. So it's a simple physical sensation in your body, and you can allow it to move through you. So if you practice this constantly, you can kind of get your emotional energy unstuck, which many healers believe benefits your health and your immune system. And it just feels better when things are kind of flowing. It's a very different feeling than if we're like stuck in our minds or always checking, our email, or just if we're always distracting. There's sort of a choppy energy. And when we get into that more flowing emotional energy, life just seems more alive. So I want you to feel free to post a comment or email me with any thoughts or your experiences about relating to these 3 tips. Love to hear from you about that. And now we're going to do about 10 minutes of guided breath work. And that may help you with some of this emotional kind of processing that we're talking about here. And it will definitely, the breath work benefits your immune system and your nervous system. So we're going to start relaxing. And it can be very nice to do this while you're lying down. It's totally fine to do it sitting up as well. So we're just going to start coming into the breath. And your hands can be at your sides, or if you like, your left hand can be on your heart and your right hand on your belly. We're going to be breathing into the heart and the belly today. So you can put those hands there if you want. And I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. And you want to be in a comfortable position with your spine straight. You can do this lying down. As I said, the main thing is your spine is straight and your legs are uncrossed. So I want you to take in some deep breaths. And while you're breathing, I want you to visualize a beautiful blue indigo color. And then, so this beautiful blue indigo. And then this lovely deep blue-green color, like a teal kind of color. So just see that color while you're breathing. Oh yeah, I'm gonna turn the music up too. Okay, got a little music going too. And now a pure blue color, like a sky blue color, like a deep blue sky color. So now you're gonna inhale twice through your nose every time while we're doing this breath work before you exhale. So on the first inhale, you're going to inhale into your belly. And on the second inhale, you're going to inhale into your heart. And then you'll exhale, just allowing the breath to come out, releasing it. So the two inhales are quite active, and then the exhale is just a release. So inhale into the belly, inhale into the heart, and release. Inhale into the belly, inhale into the heart, release. Inhale into the belly, inhale into the heart, and release. Your mind might be wondering if you're doing it right. Just trust that you're doing it right and relax. Keep doing that pattern. Inhale into the belly, inhale into the heart, and release. Inhale into the belly, inhale into the heart, and release. Now say out loud, it's safe for me to breathe. It's safe for me to breathe. I'm going to cue you with the breathing just a few more times, and then I'll just let you keep doing the same breathing pattern in your own way, at your own pace. So breathe into the belly, breathe into the heart, release. Breathe into the belly, breathe into the heart, release. Breathe into the belly, breathe into the heart, and release. And you'll just keep on with that same pattern. So if you find yourself thinking about whether you're doing it right or about the past or the future, you can thank your mind for protecting you, for all the hard work that it does that it's done throughout your life. But for now, you can tell your mind to take a break and let your mind just kind of fall away. It's safe for you to just be in your body right now. So feel your breath move into your belly, move into your heart, and release. Now you can say out loud, it's safe for me to be in my body right now. No one can take my power away. It's safe for me to be in my body right now. No one can take my power away. No matter what your mind is saying, feel into your heart and know that something guided you to be here. There's a reason why you're here. It's important for you to be here, taking this time for yourself. So you might be feeling some stuff here. You might feel negative emotion, or you might feel really joyful and present in your body. Just notice what comes up and keep that same breathing pattern. So I'm going to give you about 3 or 4 minutes here just to breathe in that pattern. And I'm going to do it too. Into your belly, your heart, and release. Breathe into your belly, heart, and release. Guess I don't have to say anything, do I? Sorry. I'll just do it. I'll give you a couple more minutes. All right. You might be feeling some tingling sensations in your body. That's your energy. Keep breathing. Keep doing the breathing pattern. Your heart might be opening. It's safe to feel that energy, and it's safe for your heart to open right now. I want you to open up to love. Know that love is always available to you. Let the space between your shoulder blades soften. And imagine any tension that's there just melting away. Now you can put both hands into your heart and feel into your heart. Feel that energy. Keep the breathing, and now just breathe into your heart. Just breathe those 2 breaths right into your heart. If you're feeling any emotional pain or difficulty, I just want you to just hold yourself with compassion there. Offer your own love to yourself. So offer your compassion if there's a painful emotion. And just let go. Feel the ground, the chair, whatever's holding you is there for you. You can really just relax and let go right now. So if you want to, you can let some gratitude into your heart and into your body. So gratitude that you're alive right now, today, that you have this breath, that you have this body right now. And if you want, you can wrap your arms around yourself and give yourself a big hug. And just be grateful that you're here right now. Thank yourself for showing up for yourself today and for being alive in your body today. And if there were things that came up for you or happened for you, you could do some journaling about that later. And now I invite you to bring movement back into your body. So you can wiggle your fingers, you can move your feet, you move your neck. And then when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. And just be grateful for yourself, for your life right now. I hope this served you in a big way today. I hope this has helped you connect with yourself on a deeper level. Getting all zened out here myself. I invite you to like this video, post a comment if it served you, and also sign up for my email list if you haven't already at bit.ly/free-cancer-resources. And I also invite you to send me a message or email me if there's a topic you'd like to see me cover here on one of these Facebook Lives, or a question I could answer. I'd really like this to be responsive to you. So thank you. Thank you for being here. And I'll be back here next week at the same time. Take care of yourselves, very good care of yourselves in the meantime. Okay. See you next week. Bye-bye, everyone.